I will call the Everman City Council regular meeting to order. It is Tuesday, February the 25th, 2025, and the time is 6:05. Everybody please rise for a moment of silence while I pledge allegiance. Okay, first thing on the agenda is consent agenda items. Item A, minutes, January 14th, 2025 regular meeting, and in January 25th, 2025 regular meeting. I will entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
It needs to be done.
Okay. So loud. You can hear me breathe.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hold council.
Place 1. Place 2. Place 3. Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
Place 6.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is financials, December 2024 and January 2025. I will entertain a motion to accept.
I make the motion to accept the financials for December 2024 and January 2025.
Second, sorry.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
I didn't get them till 5 o'clock, and I'd like to see if we can start getting them on time.
Okay, we can't table an item with a motion already on the floor, so we have to vote down the motion first if we want to table it. We can't deliberate on an item that's on the consent agenda. It has to be moved off of consent agenda down to discussion or consideration and action. So, Mayor, your options are well, we have to vote on a motion. You've got a motion and a second on the floor, so you've got to take a vote on that. If the motion fails, then at that point, a second motion can be made to handle the item on the agenda.
And we're voting to accept the financial reports, correct?
That is the motion on the
Okay.
floor, yes.
Would you poll the council?
Place 1. Place 2.
No.
Place 3.
No.
Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
Place 6.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Let's see. Next item is no presentation. Next item is citizens' comments.
We have Earl Walker wanting to make a comment.
Is he speaking under citizen comments or under the public hearing? Did you want to speak about trash or? Trash. Okay. Did you want to speak now or do you want to hold until we discuss with Abel? Completely up to you. Okay. Will you push the button on that microphone? There's a button right below. It should turn green.
Okay,
There we go.
because I haven't seen these questions on there yet. The first one is what happens to the recycle bin under proposal 3 if we use cart service? If we get it. Number 2, can we use recycle bin for bulk pickup? 3, which companies are in the running for the garbage pickup? I haven't seen it discussed. 4, how do we get straight answers from whoever collects our garbage? Because we've talked to these people and they give us one answer, and 10 minutes later, here comes the garbage truck, and the next day, here comes another garbage truck, but they said they wouldn't pick it up until Saturday. And this happened on Thursday and Friday. How is our garbage collected when our day falls on a holiday? That's the fifth one. I'd appreciate some answers, or think about it, or just think it over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless this one's under, just this one.
Okay, so next item is monthly department reports. First one is police department.
Mr. Mayor, can you speak up a little? We can't hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. Turned it off. Okay, monthly department reports. First one's police department.
Good evening. For the month from January 29th to February 25th, as of this afternoon about 2 p.m., our officers have handled 1,740 calls for service in that 1 month period. In that, we had 8 traffic crashes. 3 of them were major, involving injuries. The others were very minor, property damage only. We had about 12 disturbance calls. Most of them were general disturbances or domestic disturbances. We did have one of those that resulted in an arrest for an assault. We had 4 separate assault cases. One of them was reported as an aggravated assault with a weapon or serious injury involved. However, that did not happen in our city. It was just reported here. We had a couple of stolen vehicles. We recovered a couple of stolen vehicles that were stolen from another city and dumped here. Our detectives are actively working with area auto theft task forces to try to get a handle on this. Several months ago, we discovered a dump site and started bringing in auto theft task forces and have been working with them. And so far, somewhere in the neighborhood between 45 and 50 cars have been identified in this ring. There have been arrests made, and there are more being made. That's an ongoing process, and it looks like it will be for a while. We had several fight calls. We had 1 theft call, 2 person with a gun calls. Not a lot of other significant activity for us. Our traffic enforcement resulted in 80 citations and 50 warnings for that approximate 30-day period. We did respond to assist other agencies 17 times in this time period. Most frequently, we had officers responding to Forest Hill on back-to-back days where they had shootings involving multiple victims at 2 completely unrelated scenes. Like most police departments around here right now, Forest Hill is very short-handed as well. So we were happy to step up and assist with manpower, crime scene control, investigative activities, just any way we can help. It comes back our way as well. We used to count on them much more heavily than we do now, and the roles have kind of reversed. On a positive side, Officer Colby Ray has just completed the training to become recognized as one of the advanced law enforcement rapid response training instructors. The alert training, the active shooter training that is focused on school-based incidents or any active shooter, but primarily for school-based. That brings our total number of in-house instructors for the alert training to 4, which is a significant number of instructors for a department our size. We'll be looking to add more in that as well. That's a rough summary of what the last 30 days have been. Any questions?
The cars that were stolen, was that during the day or at night?
Actually, the 2 that we had stolen, both of them were involving relationships that went bad. They didn't actually turn out to be stolen cars. The ones we recovered from that had been stolen under Fort Worth, most definitely stolen cars. Windows smashed, steering column smashed, and they were just dumped here. Excuse me. Anything else?
Are they being dumped in Everman or outside of Everman?
in Everman. Parking lots, city streets, just wherever they decide to jump out and run.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next item is fire department.
Skip that. And I don't have anybody from Public Works.
Yes, he got a white card.
So just wait on it.
You want to jump down to code compliance and
Okay. No public works.
no, I don't have anybody from Public Works.
Okay, so let's drop down to code compliance and animal services.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Sergeant Thompson with the Police Department. The January report for animal control, they had 99 calls for service. They investigated one bite from a dog. They took in 48 dogs, 10 cats. The live release rate was 76%. Out of that, the majority of them were feral cats. All the dogs that they had live release, it was 100%.
Come on.
The adoption, transfer, and return to owners, they did 36. And then animal control, they fielded 1,062 phone calls while at the animal shelter. As for code enforcement, I do not have an update for January. I apologize. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Okay, now it's Landon's turn. Fire department.
Talk about epic timing. I don't think I could have planned that better. Mayor, Council, how are you? Good to see you this evening. I've got the report for February 2025. The calls for service for the period of January 28th through February 21st is a total of 114. The average response time is down to 4:48. That includes both county and city jurisdictions. Dispatch to en route, they have been listening to me complain about the increased time, so they've got it down to 1:02. So that's about par with the national standard. The total in-city overlapping emergency incidents throughout that time period is a total of 11 incidents where there was 2 or more incidents happening at the same time. Approximately about 10% of our calls, we had at least 2 going at once. The response types were a total of 5 fire incidents, including building. There were, I think 4 of those were actually structure fires, but they were not in city. 1 was in our county jurisdiction that is assigned to us, and then the rest were mutual aid. 1 vehicle fire, 57 medical emergencies, 4 MVAs, 22 gas, fuel, electrical. I've also included water, busted water pipes. Within that one, we did see a big increase over about 2 days of busted water pipes that we were assisting residents with within our home, and then 25 on other. As for staffing, I don't want to jinx it. We are hiring officially tomorrow, bringing on firefighter paramedic Granados. He was a part-time firefighter with us. He's actually loves it so much here, he's requested to go full-time. So tomorrow will be his technically official first day. I've completed the hiring process on 1 more firefighter paramedic, and they have been given a job offer, and they've accepted it. So we're just working out the tangibles between his current employer and coming over here. The lieutenant's promotional exam, I've got 5 candidates actually for the 3 open lieutenant positions. We'll be doing the assessment center, the interview and exam tomorrow here at the Civic Center. It should take about 5-6 hours of grilling these guys. So we're going to make sure that we put them to the test, and they're going to be the excellent highest level of lieutenant qualifications possible. I should be able to announce to them either Friday or Monday who is going to be the top 3 scores. So the next council meeting, we will we'll look for the badge pinning for the lieutenants to go on.
Excellent.
We did have 1 firefighter paramedic that completed his medical director interviews. As a recap, that is required before a paramedic is allowed to work as an independent lead medic within our system because we do provide such a high level of medical care. The skills that we're able to offer are very advanced. So one completed, we've got 2 more that are scheduled, and I expect them to be completed as well. So once they are done and the one job offer is on, I'll be back full staff. So knock on wood. So fingers crossed that it stays that way for a very long time.
Yes. Good. Thank you.
Okay, so next is public hearing, discussion and deliberation of garbage, waste, and recycling services for the city of Everman. The time is 6:21.
And Mayor, I'm going to kick us off here real quick. Come on up, Abel. You can come on up. It won't take me but just a minute. We have had numerous submissions on the garbage, waste, and recycling survey that was published online since our last meeting. So I made sure to print those for you. You should have several pages there kind of giving you some comments that have come in since our previous meeting. Also, I printed off all of the comments that were left on the most recent City of Everman Facebook post, so that way you could see some of the public discussion that has happened there. Obviously, there's also probably been some citizens that have talked to you directly or have submitted their preferences to you. Do you want to address the questions that were posed during citizen comments? We can absolutely address those questions, but do you want to address them, or do you want me to address the ones that came up a few minutes ago?
Sorry about that, City Manager. I have no issue answering those questions.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
Okay. Council, Mayor, my name is Abel Moreno, District Manager for Waste Connections. I'll just go directly to those questions. So the first question is, what's going to happen to the recycle bin? We'll pick those up. Now, if a resident wants to keep them, we don't have an issue with that. They just have to let us know so we don't pick them up. If that option is selected and we move away from recycling and we have to take those bins, we'll pick them up on the service day is what our intent is. And then if, for whatever reason, a resident misses or doesn't take out their bin, we'll come back around on bulk day to pick those. All the resident has to do is put a sign or mark on the cart that this is no longer needed, it's waste, and we'll pick it up and discard it. The next question was, can you use your recycle for bulk? After the period of transition, absolutely. If the resident chooses to keep their cart and they want to use it for bulk, they can. In regards to the third question about other companies, we did rate high on the resident survey. By all means, it is the city's right to go out to RFP. Obviously, I'm biased. I don't want that to happen. We've got a long-standing relationship with the city. We've been with the city since 2005. A lot of the same people, a lot of the same drivers have been servicing the city since 2005. But by all means, there is a right for the city, and if that is what the city chooses to go out to RFP, we will be very respectful. The next question, to getting a straight answer, after we're done here, I'll meet with the gentleman and make sure he has my contact information. I'm the district manager. I am directly responsible for the operations, the health, safety of 160 employees out of Haltom City, so I will be sure to give him a straight answer on whatever question he has. The holidays, no change for the holidays. The only thing I would say, if we move to carts, if that is one of the options that is selected, when you go to carts, you have to make exceptions for the holidays. So we're not going to service the same holidays that we don't service today, which is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. But if you go to carts, the next service day, we're going to have to make an exception to allow a certain amount of bags outside the cart, 4 to 6 bags, because during those times, you're going to have an excessive amount of trash. We have to be respectful of that and cognizant of that. So those are the answers to those questions. If the city allows, I'll go ahead and just kind of recap, summarize from the last city council meeting. So the last council meeting, we had discussed stats overall. For those that were not here for that council meeting, just real quick, the average Everman household approximately holds 42.3 pounds of trash per week. This is an equivalent to 4 kitchen trash bags. As you can see over here on the side here, we've got a Waste Connections 95-gallon trash bin, which is what we are proposing to send to all the residents of Everman. When you talk about recycling specifically, the average Everman household recycles about 11 pounds per week. 50% of the residents utilize recycling. So out of the 2,000, there's about 1,000 homes that we service for recycling. And then there's a 40% recycle contamination rate. So 60% of your recycling is clean, 40% is contaminated. With that said, we would like to make sure and we let the residents know and the city know that the options that we laid out and presented at the last council meeting, that stands. These are our options. We are not pushing for a certain option. We're comfortable with all these options. It will be up to city council, city staff to work with Waste Connections on which option is the best for the city. So scenario 1, to go over the rates, we are proposing, and scenario 1 is as is. So it's basically the same service you have today. The proposal will be to go up to $21.70 at the beginning of the contract, and the second year will be a locked-in $23.83. Every year after the second year will be CPI, Consumer Price Index. Commercial will go from $445 a yard to $577 a yard, and roll off from $407 to $600 a haul. Commercial and roll off stays the same through every option on the pricing. Scenario 2, which is twice a week carts, once a week recycling carts, which is what you have today, and one time a month bulk up to 6 yards is $18.55. Scenario 3, automated side load, which is ASL, trash 2 times per week with carts, no recycling, is $16.50. Scenario 4, this is 1 time a week. 1 time a week trash, 1 time a week recycling, which is what you have today, and 1 time a month bulk. It's up to 6 yards. That's incorrect there. The proposed rate is $13.50. For these same options on scenario 5, you're going to take away recycling, and that comes out to $11 a home. So with that, I'd just like to add that should the city elect to go with carts, we are not going to lay off any employees on the back of the trucks. We'll simply work through attrition. It is incredibly difficult to hire that line of work, and just today it's incredibly hard. We pay our helpers on average $21 an hour. You can deliver pizza for $20 an hour. It's a much easier job. What we do is incredibly hard. Our employees can lift about, on average, 20 tons a day working. It's a very difficult job. When you look at the pricing and you ask yourself, well, why are you going up so much on take-all, which is what you have today? It's really because when you look at the risk involved, the workers' comp claims, the sprained ankles, torn rotator cuffs, everything that's involved with tossing trash in the back of these trucks. There's a lot of risk involved. Our insurance is going up, as everybody has seen across the board. So there won't be any layoffs. We'll just continuously work through the attrition or send some of these helpers to other cities that have this service. If I'm complete, if there's any questions, I'm here to answer those. Also, if there's any questions I need to answer on the survey, I'm here to do so as well.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If we go with the recycle, with the bins, and say you have 5 or 6 bags of leaves, is that okay, or how does that work?
You can use the bulk day for your leaves. Bulk day, which is once a month.
Okay.
You can still put up to 6 yards, which, you know, our drivers, our helpers, our employees, we're not out there with yardsticks. You know, we will gladly take, you know, as long as it's within limitations of what's put out for bulk, within that six yard range, we'll pick it up.
Okay, so you're saying once a month?
Yes.
Pick up leaves?
Yes.
That is with which option again? With 2, scenario 2?
Those are with,
All the scenarios?
Every scenario except for the current scenario.
Right, okay,
If we
so
were-
That's
with
correct.
scenario
If we were
1
to
is
go,
once a
yeah,
week.
if we were to go to cart service, there would only be cart collection twice a week.
Right, but then once a month
Bulk pickup would occur
And if
once
we
a month,
stay the same as once a week like we do now?
up to 6. So
Yeah.
we're actually, they're actually going to allow more than what they
Yes.
currently allow. Since we're going to once a month, they would allow a larger collection. I believe currently we allow 4, right? Or we're
Yes,
allowed 4?
currently.
4 cubic yards. This would allow them to put 6 out there. So 50% more than what you currently could on a Friday. Can I ask you, Abel,
sure.
how many cities do you service, and it's just a rough, I'm not expecting a scientific answer, but how many cities do you service that have take-all service versus cart service? And then are you able to give honest feedback that you've received from citizens, not the city, but from citizens that receive cart service versus take-all service?
So currently, we have 10 cities, 10 cities that are take-all, similar to y'all. And then we have 6 cities that have transitioned to carts. I will say in the beginning, in the 60 days, first 60 days, it's, you know, you're going to hear a lot. Oh, you know, I don't like the cart. It's, you know, where do I put it? It's bulky. After that initial 60 days, everyone loves the carts because they don't realize how much you can put in the cart. You know, it's always, you know, it actually keeps your trash from just being out there where rodents, where animals can get to it. It makes the city look so much cleaner. After the initial transition, people get it. People understand why, and they don't want to go back. I have never one time have heard of a city that said, you know what, let's go back to take-all. I've never heard that.
My concern with the take-all is really just the price point. And I'm talking to council and him, but I am concerned that year 1 would be a $4 increase. Year 2 would be another couple dollar increase. I would imagine as we continue to see inflation, year 3 is probably going to look pretty similar to that. Year 4 is probably going to look pretty similar to that. So I'm just worried about the pattern that's being set and what's going to happen on a 5-year contract. I know we've talked about CPI, but we've also seen what the CPI does. Just be mindful that it may only be $4 this first year, but if we go with proposal 1, just keep in mind, we're looking at a few dollars the next year, a few dollars the following year. 8% of a larger number is a larger increase.
So with the other scenarios, there is no price increase for the 5 years?
There's the CPI, but at a much lower rate, especially if you get to the one-time-a-week scenarios.
Okay.
And I will say, I can tell you that Waste Connections and some of the other larger companies have stopped bidding on new business with take-all service. Today, I will not take on any new business with take-all. I will only bid on cart service. And that's similar to some of the other large companies.
And that is the cart for
This is cart,
trash?
yes.
Yep.
Take all is basically bagged, or you bought your
own,
own.
yeah.
You bought your own, yeah.
Mhm,
That's
okay.
take all.
Thank you.
On take all, the 4 yards, we could actually put 4 yards out every pickup. It's not once a month on the take all,
Right.
correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And I have another question. Our senior citizens are on a fixed income. There's 316, I think is what you said. Is there, can
That
you
is
give us a
correct.
proposal with a discount for them by chance on pretty much whatever we decide?
I will look into that, absolutely.
It's just-
You know, this is part of being a partner with the city of Everman. It's, you know, if there's anything we can do to help get past the finish line on this, we would love to continue servicing the city. We're open to discussion.
Hey, we did have one citizen who came by and dropped off some questions. They had a family emergency, had to leave, and I'm gonna get Mindy to read her statement. That way you can address her questions.
Sure.
Okay, she just wanted to know, why do they pick up trash and recycling together? With the new rates, will senior citizens still receive a discount on the water bill? Oh, sorry. With the new rates, will there still be a senior citizen discount for the water bill? And then after she heard the information from the last meeting, with the having one cart once a week pickup and a local recycle center that would work for the 3 households I am connected with, I still want to recycle and have free trips to the landfill.
So let me address 2 of those real quick for the record and for anybody else here. The city of Everman does offer a senior citizen discount on the water bill. That senior citizen discount is applied to the water portion of the bill, not applied to the trash or recycling.
Right.
So there's no discount currently on trash or recycling. They all appear on the same bill, but that discount is applied solely to the water portion of that. So just so
Right.
we're clear there. So this has no impact on the senior citizen discount that's currently implemented with the water bill. The last part about recycling? When we
Yes.
talked about recycling, to clarify, if city council, the city selected to go away from the recycling carts, we would implement a local recycling collection point, whether that be at City Hall or the police department. We would obviously work to identify that location, where residents can still recycle for free, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I'll let you address the first question.
Yeah, I'll address the first one. The question was, why do you collect trash and recycling at the same time? So there are instances where we would do this. So we have onboard cameras in our trucks for the recycling. And when the camera gets up, there's a camera in our hopper that looks inside that cart. And if there's any contamination, the driver will set the cart back down and won't service it. We'll radio the trash driver, and the trash driver will come around and pick up both recycling and trash, because he can plainly see that there's contamination inside that recycle cart. I've seen it before where residents may get confused because a truck will come real quick and they think it's the same truck behind the recycle. But I will say this, things happen, you know. Human beings work for me. People make mistakes. If there is ever a time where a resident feels like we're not doing what we're supposed to do, they can call myself, they can call our office, and we have cameras in our trucks, GPS in our trucks, and we can track and tell the resident exactly what happened with those cameras. So if there's ever a time where a resident feels like we're not doing we're doing something wrong, they can phone us, get a hold of me, get a hold of the city to get a hold of us, and we'll take care of it. We'll look into it and fix it.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments? Norm. Come on up, Norm.
Mayor, Council, my name's Norm Boulash, and I've been servicing this city for forever. It's been a great partnership. I remember back before I was in college at TCU, and I remember y'all had a flu epidemic. And I was a junior in college, and we had one of our players' name was Charlie Young. He was a defensive tackle, and he was from Everman, and he came to the dorm. He said, "You want to make $50?" And I said, "Doing what?" He said, "Substitute teaching." I said, "I can't even spell cat." So we, 3 or 4 of us came over and we substitute taught. I taught speech. They put me in a class of speech, and I didn't know what a speech was. So, then I went to the gym, and they found out that I was a football player, and they tested me. So that paddle board, they tested me, so I paddle them. I whip. So you had some good swats there. But I remember that, and the $50 that we made for those 3 days was very special because we didn't make any money at TCU at that time. So, and then when I got into the garbage business, and y'all have been a customer of mine since day one when I started 30 years ago. I don't know. So it's been a good relationship, and I just wanted to thank y'all as a city because you've always been, knowing what we do and respected our deal and how we did our job. And so anyway, that's all I got to say, and I just appreciate Everman. And thank you all for being a customer over these many years. You have any questions?
No.
I'm glad you asked
Thank you
Abel.
for coming.
Yeah.
But anytime you have a question, ask Abel because he'll answer it.
Yes.
But thank y'all.
Thank you.
So, Mayor and Council, on this item, we will be looking to bring back a final ordinance, unless you choose to do something different. But as it stands right now, we would be looking to bring back a final ordinance for you to consider at our next meeting, which is scheduled for March 11th. At that time, staff would ask for your consideration and approval of an ordinance based on the input that we received from you tonight. That doesn't mean we're not, I do want to be clear, and Abel said this as well. If we haven't reached the final, we want you to be happy with the ordinance and how everything is written in the contract. So if for some reason we get to March 11th and you're still not satisfied with it, you want to direct staff to go back and do more work, it's not like trash service is going to halt. We'll continue service while we go back to the table at your direction, and we would work with Abel to iron those out. So I don't want you to feel like you're under a gun. Yes, we do have a time frame because the contract is expiring. Right. We do want to get a contract in place because that protects both the contractor as well as the city.
Right.
But I just wanted you to feel comfortable in that you're not rushed. If there's some other steps you would like staff to take, we're happy to take those. Couple of considerations from the staff side while you deliberate and try to give some staff direction tonight. Again, I've already mentioned there is concern from the staff side about the increasing numbers for year 1 and in year 2. Those are pretty substantial increases. I think it's roughly 25%. That's a substantial percentage of an increase. Also, keep in mind that there has been discussion amongst council, and I don't know which direction this is going to go. I know it was tabled for this budget, but we are about to start next year's budget. We have talked about the implementation of a stormwater impact utility. That stormwater impact utility fee would appear on the water bill, typically ranging anywhere from $2 to $7 per month. So that may be another increase if the council chooses to implement a stormwater impact fee that would appear on the bill. So just bear in mind, if we do an increase here and then we do a water rate increase of typically, a few cents, it's not anything astronomical since we've made that big change. But then we have a stormwater fee. These little things add up. And I just want you to bear that in mind as well as we talk about this. or as you deliberate on this. Options 1 and 2 both have increases. Options 3, 4, and 5 have decreases. Staff recommendation based off the percentages that we've heard from Waste Connections regarding recycling. The staff recommendation would be to do away with recycling and have a local collection point because, again, as he highlighted, 50% of the city recycles. Of that 50%, only 60% of it is clean recycling, which means 100% of the city is paying for 30% of the population to actually recycle the right way. And we're just not sure that that's appropriate. When there's alternative means that we can implement for those people who do take recycling seriously and do want to do this. So that does bring up one more question, I guess, for you. Is scenario 1 an option without recycling? I don't know that council would consider that, but it's scenario 1, a take-all service without recycling an option? What kind of, and I know you can't pull numbers out of your hat, I know that's not on here, but how much of an impact would that have on the dollar amount? Okay. So something else to kind of consider. So I think if you can deliberate, the direction that we would have, or the direction that staff would need is whether you want to go with take-all or carts. That's probably decision number 1. Decision number 2 would be, do you want to go with keeping recycling service as is or eliminate recycling service? Once we know those two, then I think it's probably pretty unanimous already that we're not going to go below 2 pickups a week. I don't think we've seen any feedback from citizens or council on that. So I think we've eliminated scenario 4 and 5 right out of the chute. So if we can decide whether or not you want to go with carts or keep take-all, and then whether you want to keep recycling or not, that will nail us down to the scenario that I can go back and finalize with Abel on a final proposal to bring back. Mm-hmm. So I'll turn it over to you, Mayor, and council to discuss.
I mean, I hate looking at what you gave us, the responses. Everybody's in favorable of 1. And when it comes to recycling, they say it's very important to them. That's from the responses that we've received. So. Is this up for vote?
No, not tonight. It's up for discussion. It's up for discussion.
So
Can they not make comments?
I'm sorry?
Can they not make comments?
If the mayor would like to allow them to make a comment, the way this needs to go is the mayor would have to call on them one by one if somebody does want to make a comment. They need to come up to the microphone. They need to state their name for the record, and then they can speak for up to 3 minutes on it. But that's up to the mayor. If you want to let anybody speak, you can. But we just need to make sure that you state your name for the record so Mindy has it, and you can speak for 3 minutes.
Would anybody like to speak on this?
There's one on this side.
Anybody else like to speak on this? I mean, is that it?
There's 2.
Okay.
3.
Okay. Why don't you come up first?
Yeah. Just take it to me.
Oh.
We could take a microphone to you. Again, if you would just state your name for us so that Mindy's got it for the record.
I'm Patsy Stockman. I wasn't here last week, and I just have a question, and that has to do with our pickup, trash pickup. Will you all still continue to come to our garage door or pick it up at my garage door where you do now, or do I have to start to get to the curb again?
Can everybody hear me?
But they can online. Yeah, sorry. I want to make sure we get a mic just because I know we have a lot of people watching online too.
Perfect, no problem. So to respond to your question, nothing will change in regards to the handicap or the elderly service that we currently do. No change. If you currently utilize that service, it will continue. Yeah.
Please state your name, Judy.
My name is Judy Graham, and I'm opposed to us not doing recycling. If you see the landfill over in Kennedale, or the one south of Fort Worth, down south of Burleson, or in Arlington, it's really important that for our environment, not just for now, but for our children and their children, Just recycle as much garbage as we possibly can to protect our world. And if we don't, and I think it should be totally mandatory, and people need to learn how to recycle properly. And that's it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Patsy Malone, and the 40% of the people that do not recycle in Everman, do they pay for this service?
Yes,
They do.
every 100% of the citizens in the city do pay for recycling. Of that 100%, only 50% actually use the service, but the ones that use it, only 60% of that half uses it the right way. So therefore, only roughly 30% of the population in Everman properly recycles, but 100% of them pay for the service. That was what the math was. So.
Well, hold up, let's get to...
Teach people how to recycle so that they'll know what to do and how important it is. And, you know, it's just being good neighbors as far as I'm concerned.
Had a gentleman back.
Hello, my name is Alberto. It is my understanding option 1 is currently what we have now.
No, option 1 is exactly how service is today.
With recycling.
With recycling.
Sir, can you repeat your name so our secretary can put
Alberto Hassel.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'd just like to say that I do like our current trash pickup service. As far as the recycling, I mean, I currently don't recycle, so if you remove that and remove the fee off our water bill, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Thank you.
I don't recycle. I just put it in the regular waste bin. But I do currently like been here for, at least 24 years in Everman, and I've never had an issue with the current waste service. From what I heard, there's an additional cost, which everything goes up. I understand that. So we're seeing a higher fee on our water bill because of it. Well, I mean, that's understandable. I get that.
Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else? No.
My name is Earl Walker. I just want to ask a question. You know, if we get these carts picked up, the additional time that they spend revving up their engines and that, I don't know if they're diesel trucks or natural gas trucks, which would be the best, and if they do have a difference, that cut down expenses. As far as I want to say, recycling, people aren't going to recycle. I don't care what you put your foot in whatever, till you're blue in the face, they're not going to recycle. And for that purpose, I don't know why they don't do 3, which has no recycle, just dump it in there. Because even at the landfill, they don't recycle. They throw it all together. And it's been proven on 60 Minutes and these other programs. That's all I have to say.
Any other comments? Okay. So you need direction.
Yes, Mayor, we would like to get somewhat of an idea of which way council is leaning regarding whether to go with take-all or carts, and then on recycling, whether to keep or eliminate residential recycling.
So first things first, maybe we should decide how we feel about take-all or carts. What do we feel? I have gotten citizens' opinions, and they all would like to stay the same.
And that's probably my choice as well, to stay the way we have it now.
I like number 2. I like number 2.
Number 2, okay.
I like the take-all, but I would like to see our senior citizens get a discount.
What, I didn't hear the end of that.
I said I'd like the take-all, but I'd like to see our senior citizens get a discount.
Okay. Johnny?
I would like to keep it the way it is without recycle.
Okay. Judy?
I would like to keep it as it is, but I would also like to know what it would be without recycling. If we can look into that.
I like the take-all. I'm bad. I've got a recycle bin, and I am an avid recycler, but I fight with that thing, and I cuss it. You don't come on Russell when it's Friday morning. And I use the thing. I just don't want to have to fight a second card. And I have heard from 11 people, and they want take-all. They don't want to fight cards, so that's just not my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So does it feel like we're on the take-all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can
scratch cards.
Can we get an estimate of take-all without recycling and take-all, and see what you can do with the senior citizens?
Or can there be a take-all with a one center location for recycling, if that would be an option, with take-all?
If we were to eliminate recycling, we would implement the one single location for recycling. If we were to eliminate the recycling
Regardless
carts.
of what option. Got it.
Yeah, if we were to go with that, we would absolutely set up a collection point for recycling. Yes.
Would they still be charged for recycling?
No, that would be at no cost.
Okay.
Residents would be able to recycle at no cost. The disadvantage to that is obviously it's no longer at their home. It won't be collected at their home. They would actually have to physically come there. But we could identify, I think we discussed 1 or 2 locations where that could be placed in the city for residents.
I would say, based on the surveys and what I've spoken with citizens, as well as Ms. Mackey, that we still stick with the take-all, but then get that other second option with the without the recycle, just to see the difference.
Right.
But it's leaning more probably to the take-all.
And is that also with the 2 citywide cleanups?
Oh, yeah, we have to have those, yes.
Now, Abel, I know we talked about this the other day, but if we did away with recycling, the residents would still have the availability to continue to recycle for an additional charge that would go through Waste Connections.
We could do subscription, yes. Yes,
Subscription. I mean, I hate to say it, just by looking at these, everybody's saying they want to stay with one, they want to keep recycling. So that's my choice.
Right.
If I had to do it, I would do it, keep it as is, so.
Right.
Just putting that out there.
I think
So-
maybe, sorry, Chief, I mean, sorry.
No.
I think maybe letting our citizens know that if they choose not to recycle, right, they're choosing not to recycle, they're still being charged. By the question that our citizen asked, maybe they were not aware, so they're choosing not because they don't think they're getting the charge, but everybody is 100% getting charged for recycle. So if we just educate, you're still paying for recycle, so you may want to, right? Now, if they choose not to, then that is their choice. But
They
maybe
have the bin.
they need to be aware.
What are they doing with the recycle bin? What I want to know.
So I think what our feedback is for staff direction is we will go back and work with Able. It sounds like we're going to have to bring back 2 options to you for consideration and final adoption. Option 1 being take all service with recycling as it stands today. Option 2 being take all service with no recycling. Am I correct in that? Anything else with the senior citizen? Yes, ma'am. We'll work on that. I'll work with Able to see if we can negotiate that in there somehow.
And then the handicapped folks can work with you to ensure somebody comes up to their property and gets their trash to take it back. Okay.
And to be clear, that program already exists
Yes,
today.
yes.
So
But we're not doing away with it. It's going to continue.
Correct.
Okay.
Those 2 options staff direction will go back. We'll work with Abel to bring those two options back to you. Am I
That looks good.
mistaken in that?
Everybody okay with that? Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we've got our direction and what we need for staff to work that out.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that being said, the time is 7 o'clock, and we will close the public hearing. Next item, consideration of possible action. Item A, ordinance number 830, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Everman, Texas, Chapter 20, Utilities, by adding a new Article 12, adoption of certain portions of Fort Worth City Code, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, and providing a penalty or a fine not to exceed $2,000, and providing an effective date. I will entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve ordinance 830 as read.
Sorry.
Run that by some. God bless you.
I make the motion to approve ordinance 830 as read.
I second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, just to provide clarification. So we are contractually obligated to adopt this ordinance in substantial form, meaning it has to be pretty substantially close to the way that you see it today, because of our sewer wastewater service agreement that we have with the City of Fort Worth. City of Fort Worth handles all of our sewer waste agreement. So therefore, part of that contract states that we must adopt an ordinance that is substantially similar in maintaining utilities. So that's what this ordinance is referencing.
Thank you. That was
Any
a
other
little
questions
fuzzy.
or comments?
No.
Poll council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3, place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item, item B, ordinance number 831, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Everman, Texas, Chapter 19, Traffic, at Article 2, Operation of Vehicles, by adding a new Division 3, driving on sidewalk or curb prohibited, and at Article 3, stopping, standing, and parking, by amending Section 19-77 and adding a new Section 19-82, parking on sidewalk or curb prohibited, providing for the repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing a savings clause, and providing an effective date. I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve ordinance number 831 as read. Second.
Who was the second?
Second, sorry.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
So
Yeehaw.
staff was asked to draft an ordinance for your consideration by Mayor Pro Tem Mackey that would provide a little heavier enforcement capability on vehicles that are parking on sidewalks or curbs. This ordinance, there is a state law that currently prohibits the parking on a sidewalk. However, the state law does not clearly define what a curb is. So this ordinance does go just a tad farther than the state law, providing for clear definitions of what a curb is, otherwise adopting all the same language that is within the state law, just providing clearer definitions, making it a little easier for code enforcement to enforce any vehicles that may be parking their vehicle upon a curb or upon a sidewalk.
Or hopping a curb.
Or hopping a curb,
Yes.
correct.
So, clarification on that, give me an example.
What?
An example of parking on the curb, or you mean parking on top of a curb
You got
or
a big-
on the sidewalk?
You got a wide pickup and you're going to park on the side of your house, which is the street side, and you hop up on the curb.
Oh, I see.
And you, two tires are on
Got
the
it.
grass, the other tires are on the street.
Got it. Thank you.
Or you have a backyard that you can access from the side street, but
Right.
there's no driveway. You have to hop the curb to get up into your backyard. That damages the curb. Curbs are super expensive. And so I see that all over the city, and it's driving me crazy. And so they shouldn't be doing that.
As long as they just go through the driveway to go through the back, but not hopping the curb, that's what you mean?
Correct. Oh,
Got it.
and if they want to work with the city and have a driveway put there, So they can access their backyard, that's fine.
Yes, we do have a permit and a process for what's called a curb cut, meaning that they can actually cut and remove that curb. One of the problems that we see is a lot of curb failures and such is due to vehicle driving over them.
got
We see it crack and fall apart, and the city is responsible for that curb replacement, not the property owner.
I see,
So,
thank you.
How enforceable is that, though? Wouldn't we have to witness them driving over the curb?
How about see a car parked in their backyard and the only way to get it there is up the curb?
Yeah, so it would have to culminate to what is called probable cause. So, I mean, we could sit here and debate all night on, which cases would and wouldn't. But officers are particularly trained, and our code enforcement officer, whether probable cause exists to believe, or that would make a reasonable person believe that the vehicle is either has driven or is actively on the curb. It does typically have to be on view. It can't be something that can be done after the fact. But if an officer, Mayor Pro Tem Mackey just alluded to that. If an officer drives up and sees a vehicle a couple inches away from the curb on grass, I think any reasonable person would believe the vehicle likely jumped the curb. Therefore, in that instance, they could be issued a summons to court, and they would have to have a hearing to determine whether or not they were guilty or not of that.
Cool. Any other discussion? Poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item, item C, resolution number 2025-02-04, a resolution authorizing membership in the Atmos City Steering Committee and authorizing a payment of 5 cents per capita to the Atmos City Steering Committee to fund regulatory and related activities related to Atmos Energy Corporation. I will entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve Resolution 2025-02-04 as read.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Are we not already members?
Yes, ma'am, we are. We have to renew the resolution for membership annually, so we have to renew it every year. But we are currently members.
Any other questions or comments? Poll the council.
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item, item D, actions concerning appointments to various boards, commissions, or committees.
Okay, on this one, we have, we still have one vacancy on the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee. And then we have actually a couple of terms that are expiring on our Animal Control Advisory Committee. One of those is Miss Judy Sellers, who is currently serving as the citizen on that committee. And then the Animal Welfare Organization representative, Mr. Alan Pierce. Both of those terms expired February 6th. So it'd be staff recommendation to either reappoint or select new appointees. For the Forest Hill citizen, there's no action needed on your behalf on this one. Forest Hill has already made a selection and an appointment there.
As far as as far as the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee, Mr. Earl Walker and his wife have been interested in for the longest, and they're the couple that you didn't have their names.
Do you need a recommendation for the two Everman?
Well, I don't need any recommendation. So these are your boards. So if there's one vacancy on the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, so if Councilwoman Allen would like to nominate one of those, you can take action on that, or however you want to move forward.
Okay, Johnny, we have one opening. The husband or wife, do you know which one?
We can just say Mr.
There's only one opening, sir. Whoever is on the committee, the other spouse can come, I guess. Only one open.
So they're married, let them be one.
So what are we doing?
Are either one of you interested in the senior citizen board? Okay.
So just table it.
Okay. Now, as far as the animal advisory board, I know Judy, but then the other individual, are they active on the board?
Very much so.
Yes, very much
Okay.
so, yes.
Very much so.
Then I'm good with keeping.
Yes.
Yep.
So do we need to make a
Board as is.
recommendation for that?
I need a motion to reappoint.
I move that we reappoint Judy Sellers as our Everman citizen and Alan Pierce as our animal welfare organization members.
I second.
Oh, their expiration date becoming 2/6/2027. Okay.
I second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Would you poll the council?
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next item, item E, consider approval authorizing the mayor to attend the Texas Emergency Management Conference in Fort Worth this year.
Yay.
I would entertain a motion if we need to discuss this.
I'm trying to get back up there.
I make the motion to approve the mayor to attend the Texas Emergency Management Conference.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Cost?
It's $300. It's in Fort Worth, so no hotels or anything, just
Will
Just back and forth
the
each day.
city manager be attending?
Yes, ma'am, I will be. Since it's local this year, I can go.
It's a good conference. They cover flooding and tornadoes and things like that, so we just stay up to date on everything that.
Yeah.
I would also imagine that our fire chief, as well as likely our director of communications, will probably be attending as well, since it's local. Anytime these kind of trainings come around and it's local, it makes it much more feasible for us to go and get the valuable training, so.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Would you poll the council?
Place 1,
Aye.
place 2,
Aye.
place 3,
Aye.
place 4,
Aye.
place 5,
Aye.
place 6.
Aye.
Mayor,
I abstain.
motion carried.
Executive session, we have none. Next item, city manager's report.
We've got a couple things, so I just wanted to bring to your attention, as you may, well, as you know, we partner with the Forest Hill Public Library District to provide library services for our citizens, and they have, for the second year in a row, been recognized with the TMLDA Award, which is a pretty prestigious award given out by the Texas Library Association. So we're glad to see that they were recognized for the second year in a row. They certainly do a phenomenal job with their programming and opportunities that they have. If citizens are not taking advantage and going by the Forest Hill Public Library District, please go by the library, pay them a visit, and just see what kind of programs and opportunities they have to offer. They are doing an amazing job. Secondly, also with the Forest Hill Public Library District, the library director, Mr. Michael Hardrick, he has been selected as the Librarian of the Year for the Small Community Library Roundtable, which is part of the Texas Library Association. So congratulations to him. Again, we're very impressed and proud of the partnership and proud of the work that they're doing up there. Again, I can't tell you enough, you need to go by the library if you haven't. Libraries are not what libraries were. And that is certainly the case for the Forest Hill Library District. They offer so much there that you can engage with and have opportunities to really do a lot of activities and have a good time. So please go by there and pay them a visit. Secondly, we are getting ready to, just so council is aware, we're getting ready to have some Planning and Zoning Commission meetings likely coming up in the near future to discuss the capital improvement plan, hoping to get that updated and adopted before we start budget in just a couple of short months. So Just be aware of that. Summertime is creeping up on us, and that means budget season. So that's all I've got for tonight, Mayor.
Okay. I don't have anything, so the time is 7:15, and we are adjourned.